Hello, Art 2 students. Okay, so your first project is going to be paint pouring, which is super fun and super cool, but also kind of terrifying, so don't get overwhelmed. It's kind of like you really don't know what's going to happen. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Everything will be fine. So a couple things that you'll need. A tray. I think I only have a couple trays. I might have more by the time this is going, but I have a lot of cardboard we can use over by the mural by the closet, behind the blue little guy over there. So that will be good. Last year we used paper and it stuck to the table, so don't do that. I also would recommend not doing this like at an actual table. I would do it over on that island right there. So, just so that you're away from everybody, because you're probably going to be in a class with, a different kind of group. Like, I know I had some, like, studio and art twos with middle schoolers last year, so just so you're out of their way, they're out of your way, And you're going to need, this is going to be your practice pour canvas, so this is just little skinny one because it's just practice, so we don't want to waste a lot. I'm going to have to open that, which apparently is more difficult than it looks. So you're going to need one of these. They're just the smallest canvases in the closet, so just go in the closet, get the smallest canvas that we have in there, and you'll be good. Something else you will need, you're going to have to mix your own paint. So you're going to need, please disregard the mess I just made, everything's fine. So I've made 4 of these glue and water mixtures. You just have to mix this with your paint before you pour. If you just pour regular paint, it's too thick, and this will help it be more elastic. Let me pick up these bottles. Oh my gosh, what a hard life. Oh! Okay, I'm missing one. How am I missing one? Am I crazy? One moment, please. I'm back. Don't know where that other bottle went, but so you'll have one of these, hopefully. Basically, this is just half glue, half water. If you need to make your own, no big deal. It's super easy, half glue, half water, shake it up. Before you mix this with your paint, you want to make sure it's all mixed up. And then you're going to need empty bottles of these, which are in the cupboard that says glue on it. So there's a million of these bottles. So you can have one for each color that you need. You're going to need something to put your canvas onto that's up high so that it can drip down so that it doesn't stick to the table. And you're going to need your paint colors. So pick some colors, see what you want to use. Make sure they're acrylic paint. If it says tempera on it, it's not going to work. It's just not cute, and you just don't want to do it. Make sure it says like Blicrylic or just acrylic somewhere on it. Acrylic right there. And then you're going to need just like a random cup. I'll have the red Solo cups that I'm going to buy. I have it written down somewhere to buy them. So this is just a Christmas cup that I'm just going to throw away anyway, so it's not a big deal. So to mix your paint, you want to take your paint and put some in one of these bottles. I don't know how much you want to use, but if you run out, you can always get some more. Once you have some paint, you want to mix it with the water and glue mixture. this is just personal preference, just how loose you want it to be. I wouldn't make it too runny, but I also, like, you don't want it to be too thick. I'm going to put some more in here. Make sure your glue and water mixture is mixed. Like, shake it up before you dump it in here. That sounds good. Good enough, I say. I'm just gonna mix all of these paints, and then I will be back. Okay. So, just shake this guy up a little bit. Once you have all your colors, so I've got white, yellow, green, and blue. Those are just random colors that I decided to use. So this is all the water and glue mixture that I have left. It's basically however much paint you put in is how much of the water and glue mixture that you're going to use. So once you've got all your colors, you're going to take your cup and you're just going to start. This is only one technique. If you go on YouTube and you see someone doing it a different way and you want to try it, live your life. I am not like that. As long as you're pouring paint somehow on here and it looks cool, that's all I care about. So I'm just going to start putting paint in here. And you want to just toss it in there. Whatever order you feel you like. It's probably not gonna matter, but it's gonna look cool. Get some green. I really like green. I'm actually gonna put some more white. So it's not mixed or anything, but once you have your paint in here, you're going to start pouring. So I'm just going to go right here. I used a lot of paint. You do not have to do, but it's just going to spread out. Get some random little dotty dots in there. The inside of my cup looks like really cool. And then you're just going to tilt it, make sure you get all the edges. And you're going to get messy, so if you want an apron, you better go get one. So this is my finished product. That's a technique you can do. That looks kind of fun. You don't have to, but hey. So that's my practice pour. Let me show you some examples. Let me wash my hands real quick. Hello. So what I'm going to show you first are some of the practice pieces that the artist did last year. So this was one. She did like blues and whites down here and then like a tan down here. And then since she used those colors, she decided to use like hot glue and kind of get that beachy effect, like when the water comes up onto the sand, which I thought was really cool. And then for her final one, which you guys will do practice, and then you will make your final giant paint pour. So this was her practice, and as you can see in her actual one, she decided she mixed some white in with her tan, and then she painted her hot glue with white paint, which gives the effect that it's kind of more like waves in my opinion, but to each their own. So basically your final project, like this one that I just showed you was practice, but you'll have to make a big one and kind of turn it into something else. Like it's not just gonna pour paint, turn it in. Like that's boring. You gotta do something else with it. Here's some more practice. I thought this one was really, really pretty. It's very like marbled. And then this one is also really cool. Show you another example. So another final paint pour project. The student did like cool tones down here and warm tones up here, and then decided to add like the palm trees to make it look like ocean and sunset sky, which I thought was very, very cool. And I think it turned out really pretty, like gorgeous, right? But you will have to, for your final project, not only paint pour, but turn it into something else, like expand upon it. If it, like they both said, like that theirs looked like beachy, so that's what they did. I had a student last year use 2 cups, and she used like a purple and a white and then a pink and a white, and then where the pink was, she did like a mandala design on top of it in Sharpie, which I thought it looked so good when it was done. I decided to do, for my final one, for my example, which I took home and hung in my house because it's awesome and I love it, I took book pages and glued them over top of my paint pour in the shape of a face silhouette, and it was like words. I like to read, so that's why I did it. But there's like a bunch of different options you can do on top of just pouring paint, which like the paint pouring part is super duper fun. Nothing against the paint pouring part, but I'm just gonna pour some more of this because why not, you know? Also to keep in mind, this may take a couple days to dry. It might not be dry the next time you come into class, just so that you're completely aware. It might not be dry, and that's okay. What you can do is work on your sketchbook assignments or do some research into different techniques that you want to try, or like how you're gonna expand upon just the paint pour. So I think that's all I have for you for your first project, which is super fun and super messy, but they're so cool. Like, I'm such a huge fan. Also, if you have something like last year they used records and paint poured onto those, like old vinyl records, you can do that as well. If you have something like other than a canvas that you want to paint pour onto, I had a student last year paint pour onto a like a slab of wood from a tree, and then she wanted to turn it into a table, which was super cool. I wouldn't pour onto something that's like round. We can definitely try it and see what happens, but I don't know how that will work. And I'm not going to be there to kind of guide you through it, so I just like do not recommend doing that. But yeah, I think that's all. Like I said, these bottles are located in the glue cupboard. Make sure you use acrylic paint. Don't use tempera paint. Make sure it says acrylic on it, or it's not going to turn out very nice. I think that's all. Yeah, make sure, I would put these over by the windows to dry after you leave, because if you leave them on that island over there, kids are going to try and touch them, and I don't want them to get ruined. So, yeah, just got to wait for this bad boy to dry. Have fun, guys. I know I would love to be there with you to do this because it is such a good time, but I'm not. I miss you. Listen to Mrs. Holdren. Goodbye.